Hi everyone. Today we're going to take a look at aligning an assignment with levels of autonomy in the RSD framework. It's helpful to do this for several reasons. First, you may find that you deliver a lesson and the student response isn't what you expected. The learners just aren't getting it. What's the problem? Another reason is to ensure that what you teach and what you assess are aligned. Finally, you may want to complete this exercise to check and see if expertise blindness is impacting your teaching and assessment practices. Let's get started. There are several documents that accompany this presentation that you should download. They are Exhibit A, Universal Systems Model, Exhibit B, the Chapter 8 Jeopardy Assignment, and Exhibit C, the Information Processing Model. Exhibit A, the Universal Systems Model, was a reading that reviewed the concepts of systems discussed earlier in the semester. We talked about the Universal Systems Model and compared that to the human body and the process of making pizza. This document provided other examples of systems. Exhibit B, the Chapter 8 Jeopardy Model, captures the terms from an educational psychology textbook that describe the way humans process information, including sensory information, short-term memory, and long-term memory. The Jeopardy assignment was designed to have students process and discuss information from the assigned chapter. Exhibit C, the Information Processing Model handout, represents two readings I gave to the students. One of them discussed information processing from the human perspective. The other article discussed information processing from a machine and computer perspective. These documents are readings assigned to a class that was looking at the intersection of technology and learning. You should also download the RSD Full Framework and the RSD Skeleton Framework. We need these documents for our alignment activity. Please pause this video and take a few minutes to download and review the documents that accompany this presentation. Armed with the information I just provided for you, I asked the students to discuss and draw how information processing models applied to human, machine-to-machine, and human-to-machine communication systems. I gave them specific terms for alignment. I was expecting something like this. I got this. What went wrong? I need 3 documents to start the alignment process. The first one is the Research Skill Development Framework that's fully completed. I don't have all of the cells memorized, so I'm going to move this off to the side for reference, but I do have it in front of me. The next thing I need is one of my assignments, and I'm going to start with Exhibit A, the Universal Systems Model. The third document I need is a blank skeleton research skill development framework that I can use to write and make notes in. I'm going to turn my attention to the assignment, the Exhibit A Universal System Model, and I'm going to take a look at what I assigned students to do. I'll go back and look at my directions and my writing. And what I asked students to do was to please read this assignment. So if you take a look at this, the task is to read the assignment, and you can see that I have asked them to look at the Universal System Model, which is a review of something they've had before. They can see system inputs, they can see processes, outputs, and on the second page you'll note that there's different types of systems. There's communication systems, structural systems, manufacturing systems, energy systems. All of them have an input, a process, an output, and a feedback. At the end, they have resources that people use in technology. Let's turn our attention to how this fits into the framework. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call my completed framework up. I'm going to take a look at these levels of autonomy. I'm also going to look at what I asked students to do. So during this assignment, I asked students to read. So I'm going to go embark and clarify. I know I'm looking at this particular facet of the research skill development framework to analyze. I did not give very much autonomy to the students. Here's the assignment. You will read. There is nothing that they have to choose from. So this is very prescribed research or a very prescribed assignment. There is not much leeway for students. This is the only item that this assignment aligns to. So with that being said, what I'll do is move this out of the way, and I'm going to go over to my skeleton framework, and this is where I need to come up with some sort of coding system. I can take and print this out hard copy and write on the framework. I can do this digitally. I can take clear overlays and put over the framework and start writing on overlays. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this cell and I'm just going to color it in. On this assignment, the Universal Systems Model, the only thing it aligned to was embark and clarify, and it was in the very prescribed research category. So I'm done aligning this assignment. I'll take a look at my second assignment, Chapter 8 Jeopardy, Exhibit B, and examine that for the types of tasks I'm asking students to do. In this case, I'm asking them to identify terms from the text, and I can align that with embark and clarify. I'm asking them to prepare definitions for Jeopardy, and I can align that with find and generate. I'm asking them to discuss these definitions with one another and go beyond the textbook. I consider that analyzing and synthesizing. And then I ask them to post definitions to the discussion board, and I look at that as organizing and management, perhaps communicate as well. I then have to decide at what level I'm asking students to do this. How much autonomy or freedom am I giving them? And in this case, I would take a look at these categories and ask if I'm scaffolding, if I've set boundaries, or if I'm highly structuring their learning. In this case, once again, I'm going to say I'm in the prescribed category. So I need to mark these on my skeleton rubric. In this case, I already have one assignment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with a different coding mechanism. I've determined that the Chapter 8 Jeopardy assignment is prescribed research, and you can see that I have indicated J8 under embark and clarify, find and generate, organize and manage, analyze and synthesize, and communicate and apply, which aligns with what I feel the assignment addresses in terms of research skills, and because it's prescribed, it is under a very prescribed research level of autonomy. Let's turn our attention to the third assignment included in this presentation, and that is looking at the information processing diagrams from two different readings that I assigned to the students. You'll notice that the assignment is to read these assignments, which includes interpreting graphic images, reading written text, and processing relationships. So there's some higher level thinking, but if we take a look at the level of research and how autonomous students are in being able to select what they can and cannot use for information, this again tends to be a very prescribed assignment. Students do not have a lot of choice. So as I take a look at this, I can see that this reading assignment falls under the Embark and Clarify, and also in the Analyze and Synthesize areas of the RSD framework, but at a very prescribed level. I'm going to code this assignment much like I did the other one by using alphabetical code to indicate that I'm looking at the information processing model. So I'm going to put in IPM for Information Processing Model Assignment, and that's going to be level 1 at Embark and Clarify. And when I go down to Analyze and Synthesize, I'll also indicate that the information processing model goes there. We've aligned 3 assignments relative to how much freedom students have in determining guidelines for their inquiry. In each of the examples, the instructor had highly structured directions and prescribed assignments that students needed to complete. The Universal Systems Model was a prescribed reading task that aligned with the Embark and Clarifying components of the RSD. Creating terms for jeopardy from an assigned reading had students embark and clarify, find and generate information, analyze and synthesize information, and organize and manage information. The manner in which these tasks were completed and the criteria for submission were directed by the teacher. The final assignments had students interpreting text and graphics prescribed by the teacher. There was no autonomy in students' choice of reading. Research-related tasks fell under the prescribed level of research. Now it's time for you to practice. Pick an assignment that has an assessment to go along with it. Turn your attention to analyzing the assignment. Use the RSD framework to determine which of the facets of research are being addressed and how much autonomy students are given in completing the assessment. You will gain more familiarity with the RSD framework while looking at your assignments in an analytical manner. Have fun!